The voice, the hair. Lita Ford was heavy metal's leading female goddess in the 70s and 80s, and she joined up with the Runaways when she was just 16 years old. She's been in the thick of music ever since. She dated Black Sabbath's Tony Iommi. I always get it's so hard to say his name. And has partied with just about everybody. But not me, not yet, until just now. She's written a new memoir, Living Like a Runaway. It is a memoir. It is Lita Ford joining me now. How's it going?
Awesome.
So how long have these stories been percolating in your brain?
Oh,
did people have to die or disappear before you could put some of this down?
They did, actually, yes, they did. Fortunately, my parents passed away, but they left me with some great stories.
Yeah.
It's in the book, and one of them is about David Bowie that was just recently in the press. I didn't want to leave my mother alone, so I used to take her with me on the road. We went to New York, and we went to an awards show where David Bowie was at. And my mother gets bored, and she goes and walks around while I'm getting my hair and makeup done.
Yeah.
And a couple hours goes by, and I can't find my mom.
Oh, no. And your mom was paralyzed by anxiety after your father passed, so you must have been very worried.
Very worried. But she was gravitated towards this little British man named David Bowie. And I found her sitting on the couch next to David, and I went up to her, and I said, "Mom, what are you doing?"
What are you doing to David Bowie?
My voice cracked. I remember my voice cracking.
Yeah.
And she says, "Oh, I was just talking to Dave. He wanted an orange juice." So I thought, that's cute.
And speaking of drinking things, I love the story about John Bon Jovi not being able to handle his red wine, and he barfed all over your hotel room?
Well, just a little bit in the corner.
Yeah. Was he a good kisser before he barfed?
Yeah.
So you were recording while Bon Jovi was in the same studio, and you guys?
No, actually, John and I were friends way before. This is way before anybody was married or anybody had
There's
kids.
no Dorothea at this point?
No, there was not. Well, I'm sure they were dating off and on, but this was years ago, and he was a free soul, free spirit, and we would hang out at the bar and have fun. And we were recording an album in Philadelphia, and he was recording, so we would hook up at the bar and hang out.
That's how you do it. That's how rockers, legends do it.
Yeah.
All right, so Tony Iommi, he produced a record that you never released. How good is that record?
He never produced a record that I released. It's a myth.
Yeah.
So a lot of people think that he did produce it, but he was just my boyfriend.
But the record never came out.
No.
Is it ever going to come out? How good is it?
April 15th, we are releasing an album called Lita Ford's Time Capsule. And in the time capsule is all sorts of little goodies and little celebrity guest appearances. So I don't want to give it away, but
go ahead and give it away.
We've got the guys from Cheap Trick, Dave Navarro, Gene Simmons is playing bass, Jeff Scott Soto is doing a duet with me, and this was when they were in their prime, 80s.
Yeah.
So this is a little piece of the 80s, a little piece of my time capsule that I think a lot of people are going to dig, because we missed the 80s, and then not everyone got to live through the 80s because they weren't born yet. So there's a lot to offer in the time capsule.
We will have that audio time capsule. Of course, people can read your book, Living Like a Runaway. We didn't even get to touch on your time in the Runaways. Joan Jett was a quiet Ramones fan who didn't play guitar very well. Are you guys still friends? Last question. We only have like 10 seconds.
I don't see Joan very much, no.
Yeah. Well, neither do I. That makes two of us. Lita Ford, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Glad you came by. I love the book. It is so full of great stories, and you will devour every page. All right.